Hello, welcome and thank you so much for joining us on Moving Forward with Pastor Sarah, the Senior Pastor of Family Worship Center, the amazing woman of God who brings you His Word concerning your marriage, family and individual lives.
God's Word will change your life, give you victory over every challenging situation, and make you the best you He has designed you to be. Find out how in 15 minutes on Moving Forward with Pastor Sarah on this station. Stay tuned.
Thank you for staying tuned. What life-transforming teaching we experienced by Pastor Sarah the week before. The big is in the small. We had a whole lot to learn from that teaching. Let's note a few. God often starts with something small that has the potential to grow into something big. What we need for progress is always within our reach, so it's important to seek God for guidance to uncover it. Finally, there are no shortcuts to success or getting things right. Our growth and achievements require patience and diligence. Now, let's dive into this week's teaching. Things you didn't know about Rahab. Yes, Rahab, that woman who had a tag to her name. Do you know there are deep lessons to learn from her story? Just be with Pastor Sarah and find out.
Joshua chapter 2 verse 1. Now Joshua the son of Nun sent out 2 men from Acacia Grove to spy secretly, saying, "Go view the land, especially Jericho." So they went and came to the house of a harlot named Rahab and lodged there. And it was told the king of Jericho, saying, "Behold, men have come here tonight from the children of Israel to search out the country." So the king of Jericho sent to Rahab, saying, "Bring out the men who have come to you, who have entered your house, for they have come to search out all the country." Then the woman took the 2 men and hid them. And so she said, "Yes, the men came to me, but I did not know where they were from. And it happened as the gate was being shut, when it was dark, that the men went out. Where the men went, I do not know. Pursue them quickly, for you may overtake them." But she had brought them up to the roof, hidden them with the stalks of flax, which she had laid in order on the roof. Then the men pursued them by the road to Jordan to the fords. And as soon as those who pursued them had gone out, they shut the gate. Now before they lay down, she came up to them on the roof and said to the men, "I know that the Lord has given you the land, and the terror of you." See how she's speaking. "I know that the Lord has given you, and the terror of the land has fallen on us, and all the inhabitants of the land are faint-hearted because of you. For we have heard how the Lord dried the water of the Red Sea for you when you came out of Egypt, and what you did to the 2 kings of the Amorites who were on the other side of the Jordan, Sihon and Og, whom you utterly destroyed. And as soon as we heard these things, our hearts melted. Neither did there remain any more courage in anyone because of you. For the Lord your God, He is Lord in heaven above and on earth beneath. Now therefore I beg you, swear to me by the Lord, since I have shown you kindness, that you also will show kindness to my father's house and give me a true token, and spare my father, my mother, my brothers and sisters, and all that they have, and deliver our lives from death." So the men answered her, "Our lives are for yours, if none of you tell this business of ours. And it shall be, when the Lord has given us the land, that we will deal kindly and truly with you." Then she left them down by a rope through the window, for her house was on the city wall. She dwelt on the wall. And she said to them, "Get to the mountain, lest the pursuers meet you. Hide there 3 days, until the pursuers have returned. Afterward, you may go your way." So the men said to her, "We will be blameless of this oath of yours, which you have made us swear, unless when we come into the land, you bind this line of scarlet cord in the window through which you let us down. And unless you bring your father, your mother, your brothers and sisters, and all your father's household to your own home. So it shall be that whoever goes outside the door of your house into the street, his blood shall be on his own head, and will be guiltless. And whoever is with you in the house, his blood shall be on our head, if a hand is laid on him. And if you tell this business of ours, then we will be free from your oath, which you have made us swear." Then she said, "According to your word, so be it." And she sent them away, and they departed. And she bound the scarlet cord in the window. They departed and went to the mountain and stayed there for 3 days until the pursuers returned. The pursuers sought them all along the way, but did not find them. So the 2 men returned, descended from the mountain, and crossed over. And they came to Joshua the son of Nun and told him all that had befallen them. And they said to Joshua, truly, the Lord has delivered, past tense, the Lord has delivered all the land into our hands. For indeed, all the inhabitants of the country are fainted because of us. Chapter 6, verse 20. So the people shouted when the priest blew the trumpets. And it happened when the people heard the sound of the trumpet, and the people shouted with a great shout, and the wall fell down flat. Then the people went up into the city, every man straight before him, and they took the city. And they utterly destroyed all that was in the city, both man and woman, young and old, ox and sheep and donkey, with the edge of the sword. But Joshua had said to the 2 men who spied out the country, go into the harlot's house, and from there bring out the woman and all that she has, as you swore to her. And the young men who had been spies went in and brought out Rahab, her father, her mother, her brothers, and all that she had. So they brought out all her relatives and left them outside the camp of Israel. But they burned the city and all that was in it with fire. Only the silver and the gold and the vessels of bronze and iron they put into the treasury of the house of the Lord. And Joshua spared Rahab the harlot, her father's household, and all that she had. So she dwells in Israel to this day, because she hid the messengers whom Joshua sent to spy out Jericho. So for starters, did you know that Rahab was a woman of great faith, who not only believed but actually preached faith to the 2 spies who came to spy the land? She actually preached faith to them. She believed in the God of Israel. She believed what he had done for them and what he had done through them. You can see it in her narration in chapter 2, verse 9 to 11. Hear the words of faith. Let's look at the words of faith, the things she said. See a woman preaching the gospel. Joshua 2:9. And she said to the men, I know that the Lord has given you the land. I know, not we know. Because in the walk of faith, everything must be personal. I know. You must know beyond a shadow of doubt the God you are serving. She said, I know that the Lord has given you the land, that the terror of you has fallen, has fallen, and that all the inhabitants of the land are faint-hearted, past tense, because of you. Verse 10. For we have heard how the Lord dried up the waters of the Red Sea for you when you came out of Egypt, and what you did to the 2 kings of the Amorites who were on the other side of the Jordan, Sihon and Og, whom you utterly destroyed. We have heard. She was testifying. See, these are the people that were supposed to come and say that, you know, our God destroyed this and this and that. And did you hear that this? On the other hand, she was the one preaching. She was encouraging them. They went there afraid. But by the time they finished listening to this woman, they were standing tall. They knew that the battle was over. Verse 10. For we have heard how the Lord dried up the waters of the Red Sea. Verse 11. And as soon as we heard these things, our hearts melted. Neither did there remain any more courage in anyone because of you. For the Lord your God, he is God in heaven above and on earth beneath. Everything she said about God, she said in the past tense. Faith is past tense. You have gotten the land. You have overcome. The Lord has given you the land. Your terror has fallen on us. I want to say to you today that that thing you are believing God for, that thing you are afraid of is also afraid of you. You remember the day the lepers stood up to go to the land? The people heard the sound of the thing and they ran away. And so what the lepers were afraid of was also afraid of the lepers. I want you to know that that thing that has stood in your way, that it is also afraid of you. Question is, who is going to balk? Who is going to stop? She said, we have heard of the terror that you have inflicted on other people. So she spoke faith and she spoke it in past tense. Like I said earlier, there couldn't have been stronger words of faith. Or that somebody today will say, I know that God has answered me. I know that God has given me the child. I know that God has helped me to build that house. I know that my business has prospered. Not is going to, not I will have the child. I know that I have my children. I know that I am well. I know that it is well with me. I know that all is well. I know that my brother is saved. I know that my husband is coming back to the Lord, that has come back. See, even me I have to change my language, because see, the language of faith is past tense.
That's it for today. Things You Didn't Know About Rahab by Pastor Sarah will continue tomorrow. Don't forget to tune in.